So you know the drill. We have the weekend Apple news. Welcome back to the channel. And here we go again. We have the weekend Apple news. If you're new here, I'll just say what I'm going to do really quickly. I usually just start by introducing the beer I'm drinking. Not affiliated with them. You guys have your cappuccino or whatever you're drinking. I'll tell you what I'm drinking. And then I'm going to get into about 20 to 25 different Apple news stories that happened over the last week, including WWDC coming up. So sit back and relax and let's get into your weekend Apple news. So what do I have today? I actually have the GOAT, my favorite, greatest of all time, of the beers that I drink right here. This is called the Hofbrau Dunkel. It's from the Hofbrau House in Germany, Munich. Been there about 7 different times now. I'll show you some pictures. I love the place. So this usually comes, actually, it's a little bit darker. Obviously, it's a Dunkel. So this usually comes from, I think they're kind of wood kegs, I guess you'd call them, over at the Hofbrau House. So definitely check it out. If you're ever in Munich, you got to go there and try the beer there. It's actually way better than actually in the bottle right here. But it's still my GOAT, #1 beer I love. Let's get into the Apple news. All right, story number 1 is a little bit about WWDC. Over here it says from 9 to 5 Mac, report Apple to launch iOS 18 AI features marketed as Apple Intelligence. Pretty smart, right? It says Bloomberg's Mark Gurman says that Apple Intelligence will be kind of the call sign that they're going under. And what do you think that stands for? AI, Apple Intelligence. It's okay, right? Anyways, you get the idea. It says, rather than focus on writing poetry or making up images, Apple Intelligence Suite will feature use of large language models to offer functionality that helps users throughout their daily life with abilities like summarization and rich audio reply suggestions, all right? So they're not going to really go after like a lot of the things that other companies are doing. They're doing more day-to-day life stuff. It says down here, things with, it says, summaries. You can generate summaries. Apps like Messages and Mail will be able to create rich auto replies. Generative AI will also power new emoji creator feature, which I'm not sure how useful that actually is in my daily life. The Photos apps here, it says it will have AI-infused photo editing features similar to the Smart Eraser found in Google Pixel phones. Not too bad, but still, that's kind of contradicting what they're saying. Significant improvements in Siri and AI-powered code completion and Xcode, so that's actually going to be big for a lot of people. Apple Intelligent will be powered by a combination of on-device and cloud server capabilities. So it says it's partnership with OpenAI. We talked about this before, which is not really great news, but I think Apple's slowly developing their own with the security and everything, and they'll launch that very shortly. Anyways, this is what's coming in WWDC, and we got a few more stories here. All right, so the next story saddens me to no end, right? I hate to read this, but I think it's going to be true. We don't know yet. Over here on Apple Insider, it says WWDC unlikely to see debuts of any new hardware at all. Can you believe this? I thought for sure the Mac Mini, the Mac Studio has to come out with the M4. They can't surely be in M2s for another 6 months, can they? Well, this is saying, look at the rumor score down here. It says down here, a new report doubles down basically the improbability of any new hardware at WWDC and pushes back the rumored arrival of the Apple TV set-top box. So even that's going to get pushed back. It says right here, the newsletter had previously said that it expected new versions to arrive in the first half of 2024, but now it's saying that this may not happen at all, and they're just going to kind of overlook all of the hardware at WWDC. That's kind of what we're all waiting for, at least on this channel. So it goes down back in here, and you can see down here it says these are things that haven't been upgraded in a while. But you can see here the Mini in the Studio and obviously the Apple TV are the 3 ones at the very top of the list there. And if they're not updated, I have no idea what Apple's doing. They have to do this, don't they? Well, I guess it's only going to be a couple more days before we know. Tell me in the comments what you think. Anyways, enjoy what you have, whether it's a coffee, maybe a martini, or even a beer. But I'm sticking to it. This is the greatest of all time. Very smooth. All right, here we go. So the next story from 9 to 5 Mac here, it says Apple's most impactful watchOS 11 feature will require this fall's new Apple Watch. So Apple watchOS 11, the OS version 11, is coming out soon. It's got this feature that they're going to build into it, which is actually supposed to be incredible. But it won't even work until you actually the actually new watch comes out in the fall of this year, for all it's worth. But down here it says Apple Watch Series 10 adding blood pressure sensor, which is going to be key here. But I'm not so sure I'm going to like it. It says the planned addition of a blood pressure sensor to the Apple Watch next year is a path-breaking technology, which it would be. In the first iteration, however, the system is designed to just tell a user if their blood pressure is trending upward. and to offer a journal for the user to jot it down to see what's happening with their hypertension. To avoid potentially giving misdiagnosis, the feature will then direct the user to talk to their doctor. But it says ultimately a future version of the system will work with give you exact numbers on the blood pressure and everything else. So this is a huge feature, right, for people that have hypertension and blood pressure problems. The only issue that I say is, if you have that on you constantly and you get mad at something, like someone cuts you off or something on the street or something, and it goes, is it constantly going to be bugging you? Or even, I think that would make your blood pressure worse, wouldn't it? I mean, just all kidding aside, I think by knowing that your blood pressure goes up every single time it does, it would just elevate it even more, wouldn't it? You tell me in the comments, would that be good or not? I think it would be good, but overall, I think it would really mess me up if I had it on at all times. All right, so if there's no new Macs coming out, there's one Mac here I want to show you that's probably something you should pick up because the deal is just too good to be true here. Right now on Amazon, of course, this is subject to change when you look at it. Apple 2023, this is the M3 Pro, right? So the M3 Pro, basically the base model, but still, it's got the 14-core GPU, but it's got 18 gigs of RAM, 512GB SSD right here, silver, $16.99 right now, $16.99 from $19.99. Usually it's $17.99 when it's on sale. Now it's even $100 off, so under $1,700 for the Pro model, the 14-inch obviously, with the brand new M3 chip in it. How can you go wrong? Right here on Amazon. I'll have a link to it in the description, but you better check it soon because it's probably going to be gone poof before you know it. All right, going back to the kind of WWDC and some new changes on iOS 18, this is one that, again, I want your opinion on this because to me, I'm not sure I'm going to like some of these. It says over here, iOS 18 Mail app features smart replies, tone change, and auto sort. All right, so that's pretty straightforward. This is from 9to5Mac. So we go down here. It says one of the reported changes is the more powerful search functionality. This is said to be able to search contacts, locations, and locally stored documents. Of course, that's good, right? We want to be able to search stuff ourselves. We can search it. If it's better, that's better. But then it says smart replies in another. So it says smart replies is another thing it's going to have in here. It says mail messages and Siri will also receive a new smart reply feature, which gives users the option to reply with an instant AI-generated response to an email. So Siri will gain the ability to utilize Apple's AI in order to create replies in the user's request. And it's kind of crazy because it says make this email more professional, friendly, concise. So overall, you're going to be responding to people, maybe loved ones, and you're going to be clicking a button and letting Apple or AI or whoever, OpenAI, write the message for you so it's not even coming from you. Instantly, I think we're turning everybody into robots, aren't we, with this feature? I mean, if you can't write your own response and they're all canned, aren't there going to be a lot of similar responses out there? You have to tell me, what do you think about that? Because I think it's actually crap, right? I just don't like that at all. I wouldn't use it because it's not me, right? You tell me, though. And then it goes on to say down here, managing a busy inbox also could get also easier with this AI scanning feature. Now, Google actually has this in Google Gmail. It says it can organize them into news, promotions, social. Now, I know some people love that feature. I don't, because then it sorts them and I lose things. I like them all in my inbox. I like to sort them manually as they come in. But I'm different, so I don't know what other people want. But this is what's coming. I think it's good news for a lot. For me, maybe not, but we'll find out. All right, so this next one is about the Apple App Store. It's making a lot more money. It says right here, has best quarter in 4 years. It's crushing Google Play and its spending. So if we go down here, you can see this little chart here. So here's Google iOS over here, the actual place, I guess you call it the App Store. And this area up here is non-games, and this area down here is games. You can see how it grew. So it grew basically by 11.5% from 2023 to 2024 in the quarter. This is just one quarter. 24.6 billion in one quarter. So over here is Google, which is weird. So Google grew only 5.3% versus 11.5% on Apple. But you can see that the games here, the productivity apps up here, and this is the game apps. So the games actually down here, I guess they're about even here. But on Google, there's a lot more games than productivity that people pay for, which is kind of weird if you see that there. But that's not that important. The important thing is Apple's growing, and they're actually growing quite a bit faster than Google. The more interesting thing is if I scroll on this other chart here, look over here now, you can see that this chart now says these are the app downloads. So you can see that Google has a lot less downloads. They actually increased by 2.1%. Google over here is way more downloads, but it decreased by 5.2%. But you can see the difference in downloads, but the revenue on Apple up here is a lot higher, which is weird, right? So what it goes to tell you is if you're marketing for people and you want to, go after like marketing on my channel, make sure they have Mac viewers, which I do. They're better for you. All right, I feel vindicated on this one, so watch my video. Nobody's really watching that one video. I did a video a while ago on the recall feature built into Copilot, Microsoft's new Copilot Plus PC. Check out that video. It's like 3 or 4 videos ago from my channel. Over here it says 9 to 5 Mac. Microsoft won't apologize for AI recall feature security holes, but it's making changes. So I said it, and a lot of people said it, but then all of a sudden now Microsoft's finally admitting there's a lot of big problems with recall. So down here it says, it's only a few days and Apple unveils its own AI features. Well, Apple will unveil in a couple days here, but it says Microsoft needs to address a security disaster that its hallmark AI feature called recall. So even this person here, they hate it as well. It says what they're going to be doing, and Microsoft outlines several key changes being implemented for recall. First, we are updating the setup experience of Copilot Plus PCs to give people a clearer choice to opt in to saving snapshots and recall. If you don't proactively choose it, it will not turn on. Before it was turning on automatically. People didn't even know they're saving this stuff. It says second, Windows Hello enrollment is required to enable recall. In addition, proof of presence is also required to view the timeline in the search of recall. So they've made those 2 changes as well to make it even more difficult to automatically get messed up in recall where all your data is just sitting there. And then third, we are adding additional layers of data protection, including just-in-time decryption protected by Windows Hello Enhanced Sign-In Security. So recall snapshots will only be decrypted and accessible when the user authenticates. Again, another change. These weren't even in here just a couple days ago. Now Microsoft's being forced to do it. If you watch my video, this is exactly what I said. It's a security nightmare, and I hope Apple does not go this direction. Microsoft did, and they're seeing all the problems. We'll see what Apple does. All right, another Apple. It's not really a sale. I thought it's kind of a good, you tell me if this is a good price or not. I thought it was, though. Over here, this is on Apple Certified Refurbished right now. 13-inch MacBook Air, M2 chip, 8-core. Obviously, it's kind of the 8-core chip, 8-core GPU. Right here, $1,019. Why is it that? It's right here. 16 gigs of RAM, 256. So just barely over $1,000 bucks, but you get the 16 gigs of RAM. Now, it is only the M2. I have one sitting right here. But with 16 gigs of RAM, it can do anything, photo editing. It can do anything you really can throw at it, for the most part, right? For just about $1,000 bucks, even though it's a 13-inch, if you're thinking about this maybe, or like an M3 with only 8 gigs of RAM, I would get this one, the M2 with 16 gigs, because you're going to notice a world of difference. And like I said, it's right around the same cost. It's right around $1,000 bucks, which I think is a really good cost for this. You guys tell me, would you still buy this, even though we may be going to the the M4 soon in 2024? I still would, because I know how well it performs here because I have one. This next one I just thought was a kind of a funny article because of the way that this is what I hear all the time, right? So over here it says the iPad Air 2024, which is going to be the M2 version. It's not the cheapest and not the best, but still great. This is by Apple Insider. So I'm not going to go through the whole article here. They gave it a 4 out of 5. But what basically the person's saying is, I won't go through it all, but it says the design's really good, right? It's thinner. Everyone says it's thinner, which is really good. The display is a little bit better. So the display is going to be better. Still, I mean, I think he said maybe it's not even, but maybe it's a little brighter or something. He likes it though, so he likes that as well. He says it's one of the best there as well. He says the audio and video, that's really good as well. He goes through all the different features. The new accessories are really good. But at the end of the day, he comes back to the exact same thing all people say, and the reason they don't give it 5 stars is the OS. The OS is not good, all right? It's not like a Mac. You can't get a lot of work done that you can on a Mac. They need to integrate somehow some features of that, which may be coming in WWDC. We'll see. But overall, every single person that reviews either this or even the Pro version, it's always a software, and the software is the biggest problem with the iPad. One good thing with the M4 is coming out is going to be a brand new, basically a security feature that Apple hasn't even really disclosed yet. But it's on the M4 iPad, and it's going to be coming to the M4 MacBooks and stuff, they think. It says by 9 to 5 Mac, the M4 iPad Pro has a new privacy feature Apple hasn't told anybody about. So long story short, as it says, fun fact about the M4, it's basically the first device to support Apple's new Secure Indicator Light, SIL, mechanism. When using the microphone or camera, the corresponding indicator dot is effectively rendered in hardware, making it a lot less likely that any malware or user space app would be able to access those sensors. So basically, they've added this thing into the hardware so that your camera or your voice recording is way harder to implement without your knowledge. Obviously, they show like little dots and stuff, but they can't even spoof that. So overall, we think it's a really good change for Apple, another good security thing, and we hope it's coming to all M4 products soon. All right, another kind of sale here, and I've showed this a couple times, but you have to jump on this because this went back up to $15.99, and now it's right back down to where it started here. The Apple Studio Display on Amazon right now, standard glass, $12.99, 90% off, so $300 off. It rarely goes on sale, except it has been a little bit more now. Hopefully, maybe they'll introduce a monitor at WWDC, even though there's no new hardware, right? Maybe they will, but this is actually a great deal right now for what you get. Obviously, you could argue if it's a good deal overall, but usually this is not on sale. It's on Amazon right now, $12.99. I'll have a link to it. Pick it up if you want this, because who knows how long it's going to last. All right, the next one is actually pretty good news as well, something that Apple's doing, again, for security. So take a look over here, 9to5 Mac. An Apple password app will be a small change with a big impact, all right? Well, why is this? So here's the article here. One thing that kind of note in here, let me just kind of go down here. It says, as Apple devices have, of course, long had built-in managers in the form of keychain and iCloud keychain for security reasons, right? But it says over time, the security feature has grown increasingly powerful, and now it's on par with standalone password managers like 1Password and LastPass. That's what they're saying. However, you wouldn't know it given that it's been hidden away in the settings app. So a lot of people don't use it because it's hidden away. It's kind of out of sight. You don't even think about using it. That's all set to change, says Bloomberg. iOS 18, Mac OS 15, iPad OS 18 will include a dedicated passwords app for the first time, according to the new report. The app will be powered by Apple's existing iCloud chain service, which syncs passwords and usernames across devices. He says the new app will also allow passwords to be imported from existing password managers. So overall, they're having their new password manager as a software built into Apple. Good news for everyone. Finally, you're going to be able to have a lot easier chance of setting it up without trying to find it in the back, way in the back where you have to go through all the settings. I think this will be in people's faces, so they're going to use it. This next one's kind of an interesting, fun article. That's really smooth. Try it out. I don't work for them. I'm just kidding, but I actually like it. So it says right here, 9to5 Mac. Your future AirPods case will look a lot like a modern iPad Nano. What do you guys go for this? Take a look here. Here it is. Here's the picture of it. Sometimes with Apple, old becomes new again. Designs of this product are at times revisited. So I guess if you look at that, it's got like a little, nano stuff built into it, and it's actually in the case of the iPod or the iPods basically. There's a patent for it. That's why patent shows Apple's big ambitions for AirPod cases. Basically, you can control the audio playback, activating with Siri, receiving and responding messages and iMessages, checking the weather, listening to audiobooks. So all that can be built in with storage in there as well and everything like that. I know you have your phone that you usually connect to and all that kind of stuff. So would you even use something like this? I mean, I guess is it just added weight? Do you even need it? I guess added cost. Or would this be useful to you? Maybe you're at the gym, you don't want to bring your phone with you. Maybe you can still make a call on this. I don't know. Long story short, they got a patent for it. Whether it's going to be made, we don't know, but it's kind of cool. All right, this next article, let me explain a little bit before I kind of explain what it's for because it'll make more sense. Apple Insider, it says Apple has hidden thread radios in new iPads, MacBooks, and iMacs. So long story short, so I had to go with myself and look up what this actually means here. So I went in there, it says thread radio basically is a primary wireless protocol for the new smart home standard Matter, which Apple helped develop. The announcement for the iPhone 15 Pro, the Pro Max, only briefly mentioned the thread radio, saying that it was opening up the future to basically home integrations. So overall, it's kind of made for the home integration, like with all the devices that it connects to. Well, down here it's saying Apple seems to be on the cusp of incorporating Thread into many of its new products without having to officially listed it in the product specs yet. So down here you can see this list of everything in here. So watch from Apple Insider TV. You can see this big list of everything that might actually have it right now. It's got iMacs that are M3s, MacBook Pros, M3s, all the M3s basically, and also the brand new iPad Pro 13-inch and also the iPad Pro 11-inch. Also the Airs. So all the new stuff has it, and they're secretly put in there for that. So it's interesting enough, Apple doesn't actually list Thread on any of the above mentioned devices, and therefore presently no compatibility. However, FCC reports indicate that Apple has tested the Thread radios basically, and they're ready to go. So Apple might be announcing this in a couple of days, and this might actually, if you watch this later, make no sense to you. But overall, it looks like these are coming, and there's a reason for them. It's kind of built into your home services. This is a fun one. The other day, I think it was 2 days ago on the 5th, over here, Apple Insider, stormy servers, Apple weather suffered an intermediate outage. So they were out, basically the weather app. So if you were actually checking the weather earlier this week and you got a screen just like this, see right here in the middle, it says it is unclear how many users were affected by the issue, but there was a sizable number of posts in X and other places that said that it was out completely for a while. So just FYI, it's not your Wi-Fi. Don't call your Wi-Fi company. It's actually Apple. The servers, I guess, were down on the weather app and nobody was getting the weather. Funny, because a lot of times you don't hear this from Apple, but I just want to report it. All right, of course, I love Apple, and I'm sure you do if you're watching. Some people hate it, and they still watch for some reason anyways. That's another story. So it says right here, Apple still dominates wearable market despite nosediving sales, 9 to 5 Mac. So as you know, Apple, the Apple Watches and all the wearable, Apple has a huge lead on it, but it's slowly decreasing and actually decreasing, I guess, pretty quick. So down here at the very bottom, let's just see down here where it says the wearables market began in 2024 with a growth spurt. It says wearable devices grew 8.8% year over year. So they actually grew completely up year over year. Despite the shipment growth, average selling prices declined. So the selling prices of the actual devices declined, but the devices actually went up. It says Apple maintained the top position, although it's held back by poor macroeconomic conditions, a temp ban on certain watch models, and the lack of newer AirPods. I guess I didn't know that. It says overall, Apple Watch shipments declined 19.1% year over year, while wearables, including AirPods and Beats, declined 18.8% during the same quarter. So Apple's share fell from 24% of the market to 18% of the market. And it's saying down here that these companies down here, you can see them. These three here have started about 10%, 9%, and 9% from Samsung. So you can see all the percentages down here. Overall, though, it looks like it was a substantial drop. And these other companies are coming up because they're probably offering less expensive stuff, which usually happens in the world. But it's still interesting. I mean, obviously Apple's probably keeping a close eye on this. All right, I got to take a sip because this one makes me a little nervous. Over here, Apple Insider, you got to watch out for this kind of stuff. It says, a new evasive Mac malware strain is stealing crypto. So not that I don't even have any crypto, so they can't steal my crypto. But down here it says a new Mac type of malware is masquerading as Clean My Mac, which is funny, or Photoshop cracks. Don't download this software you shouldn't have. That's number one. And it's been stealing data from browsers in cryptocurrency wallets. And here's how to stay safe. So it says that according to MacPaw's Moonlock Lab, I think, don't they own Clean My Mac or something like that? Very similar. I don't know. Anyways, it says it can use Apple script to trick users into revealing their passwords, steal cookies from browsers like Chrome and Safari, and then self-destruct if it detects it's running on a virtual machine. The script starts by getting the current username from the system along with several essential system paths for later use. In web browsers like Chrome and Safari, it can harvest sensitive user information like browsing history, cookies, save passwords. It can also function as a script in its ability to find popular cryptocurrency wallets. It can steal wallet files, potentially giving basically attackers your money. So, and I went on to read the whole article. It says how to stay safe, right? Actually, before I even get into that, it says here are the wallets right here. So here are the wallets. You can go ahead and just pause it there. Those are the wallets that it's actually stealing money from. But anyways, I read the whole thing and it says, how do you stay safe? It basically says, check the URL before going to it. Only download software from sites you trust. Make sure it's the right URL. Those type of things. It's all up to you. So you have to be really careful. Just don't download rogue software either. That's the bottom line. Be careful out there. It says Gatekeeper, a built-in feature in macOS, can ensure some of the stuff, can help you a little bit with this. But overall, if you get this on your system, watch out. Here's another funny story because it wasn't really disclosed really even by Apple yet, but it's now been changed. Apple Insider, it says Apple's new M2 iPad Air has 9-core GPU, despite the original claims to the contrary. So it says Apple has quietly changed the M2 MacBook Air's listed GPU core count from 10 cores to 9 cores, and metal benchmarking suggests that the 9-core spec is accurate. So obviously, long story short, the M2 Air was originally announced having a 10-core GPU, and then it says initially in the press release on May 7th, the press release has remained uncorrected, as has the iPad Air support page, and all listings for the product Apple stores outside the U.S. on June 1st, as of June 1st. So I don't know if it's been changed yet, but as of June 1st, they hadn't even changed it yet. But it's only got about a 9-core GPU, not a 10-core. And you can see down here are the difference in scores. It's like basically on, Geekbench Metal, it's 41,095 versus 45,195. And that's the difference between 9 and 10 cores right there. So for all it's worth, even though Apple said it had the 10 cores, or the marketing did, it's only got 9. All right, not good news here, because if you're waiting for an iPhone, which is foldable, you're going to be waiting a lot longer now. Now, right here it says Apple Insider, it says iPhone Fold is on its way, but you're going to have to wait a while, just like I just said. I just repeated myself. Anyways, it says, here it is. It's rumored for the foldable smartphone in 2027 at the earliest. So it goes on to say that foldables only have about, down here, 5% control of the market right now. But the reason Apple might still do this, and this is up to 2027, is I guess in China there's a lot of, they like AI features and they like foldable phones for some reason. And Apple's losing a lot of share there with Apple market share on their phones. So they might have to be forced into making a foldable to kind of get some of that market share back from Apple devices in China because they make, it's a huge population obviously. But that would probably be the only reason they go with this because I don't use one. You guys tell me, would you use a foldable phone, especially if it was way more expensive? Even if it was cheaper, I'm not sure I would buy one because it's just kind of clumsy to me. I just like picking the phone up and using it. I don't like opening it up. I know it's kind of cool, but I have a cheap iPad for that, and that's all I would use it for. So I don't know. You tell me. Post in the comments. All right, so it's Saturday, and whether you're sitting, doing some work or playing a game, this is some good news for the gamers. Right here, popular tactical shooter Sniper Elite 4 coming to iPhone, iPad, and Mac later this year. It says Apple's most recent push for multi-platform gaming support is continuing to show signs of life. Thank God. Thanks to a large part of Apple Silicon's Mac's debut. So it's basically saying Sniper Elite 4. I don't even play it, but it's basically coming to the Mac devices. The iPhone 15 Pro and Pro Max can play it. The iPads with the M1 chip or later. And then it says Macs with M1 chips or later. So I'm guessing it doesn't work on the Intel ones. That's what it's saying here. But overall, I think that's good news, right? If it starts bringing these games more and more, the developers get involved, and then we get more games and more games. It's kind of like a snowball effect. Obviously, we're going to be getting faster and faster GPUs as time goes on with the M4s especially. So we'll see how those come out when they do come out eventually. The question is, when are they coming out? All right, we got another sale. This is going to be, again, could change when you watch this, but this is, again, on Amazon. It's an Apple 2022. This is the M2 here, 13.6. So not bad. 8 gigs of RAM, 256. So this is basically the base model, but still, $829. It's down 17%. Whoops, 18. So it's really $829. It's going to almost getting down to like $799, which was the M1 MacBook Air's cost, right? This is one of the lowest I've seen right now. And again, I own it right here. It's sitting right here with this little skin on it. But this thing's incredible. I have 16 gigs of RAM. This is only going to have 8. But still, the M2 is plenty for everything you have to do. If you're just a normal user, don't even worry about the M3 or the M4 right now. This is a good deal at $829. So if you're thinking about just a basic computer, this is the one. All right, this next one, actually, I like this company. Anyways, you tell me if you guys do too. So DuckDuckGo, I love the company because privacy is one of their key features. It's a browser, obviously. Check it out if you haven't checked it out. But it says DuckDuckGo launches free access to anonymous AI chat and with a choice of 4 models. So here, this is really good news. DuckDuckGo is out today with the news that it has a built-in AI chat feature, is available to all users. The free functionality offers a choice between 4 different AI models while protecting your user details. DuckDuckGo AI Chat is an anonymously way to access popular AI chatbots. Currently, OpenAI 3.5 Turbo, these other ones in here, and 2 open source models. You can choose any of those. This optional feature is it's free to use with a daily limit. So you have a daily limit, but still free to use. But you can go in there. You can go to OpenAI or whatever and use it without actually logging in through a name. So it doesn't even know who's using it. That's actually great because then you can protect your information, still get the benefits of AI. They can't mine any of your data, things like that. And this is why this is a good company, DuckDuckGo. Support them if you can. Use them as a browser. I have all of my Macs. I use them. I got to admit, I don't use them all the time, but I do use them. I love the company. I'm not getting paid by them, but just check it out. All right, this next story, the last story here, is actually funny, but it's also something that I've been talking about the last couple episodes of this exact blog here. So it says over here, Apple updates iPad OS, but just to fix something only on the iPad 10. And this is the AI Apple Insider. So long story short, Apple's did an update, but only for the iPad 10, which is the 10th version of the iPad, the base model. It's basically the small, cheaper version. But why is it? Well, without going through the whole article in here, it says, on May 20th, Apple released updates to iOS 17.5.1. The update fixed a bug in the photos that resurfaced previously deleted images. So long story short is, I talked about this many times. There was a bug in Apple where people were getting images that they had deleted years ago back onto their systems, which caused, if you can imagine, a ton of problems depending on what those pictures were, right? There was a bug, and they claimed it was a bug, and we don't even know exactly what it is. But it looks like only certain devices are affected, actually, and the iPad 10 was one of them. So this bug, or this actual update, was something that fixed or helped fix that issue. So if you have an iPad 10, this is all it's saying right now on this, definitely get that upgrade right away before you start seeing some old pictures of your old college days, and your wife might not be that happy. All right, that's it for this week. Like I said, enjoy your cappuccino, tea, martini, a beer. We do this every single week on Saturday, Friday, sometimes Sunday, usually on the weekend though. Obviously, that's why I have this. During the week, we do normal stuff where we do tech reviews and just Apple, a whole bunch of Apple stories and everything. Subscribe if you can. I'm growing the channel. Want to do live stuff. I'm going to have guests and stuff soon. Keep saying that, but we just don't have enough viewership on this exact kind of episode on the weekends. Once I do, we'll do live shows. Guests, we'll get your questions coming in. It'll be a lot of fun. We'll talk to everybody soon in the next one. Peace.